Welcome to EduCon. This is Imam with you. In this session, we'll learn about leaf. The leaf is a lateral, generally flattened structure borne on stem. Most of us might have seen leaves on plants. It develops at the node and bears a bud in its axil. The axillary bud later develops into a branch. So, branch arises from axillary bud, whereas leaves they develops at the nodes. Leaves originate from shoot apical meristems and are arranged in an acropetal order. They are the most important vegetative organs for photosynthesis. A typical leaf consists of three main parts. What are those? Leaf base, petiole, and lamina. All these three parts are associated with the leaf. The leaf is attached to the stem by the leaf base and may bear two lateral small leaf-like structures called stipules. So in the picture you can see picture A, that is we have an auxiliary bud, the leaf base, petiole which connects the leaf base with the lamina, and we have stipule on either side of the leaf base. In monocotyledons, the leaf base expands into a sheath covering the stem partially or wholly. In some leguminous plants, the leaf base may become swollen, means become larger in size, which is called pulvinous. Pulvinous is a swollen leaf base. The petiole help hold the blade to light. Long, thin, flexible petioles allow leaf blades to flutter in the wind, thereby cooling the leaf and bringing fresh air to leaf surface. The lamina or the leaf blade is a green expanded part of the leaf with veins and veinlets. There is usually a middle prominent vein which is known as midrib. You can see from the picture there is a main prominent vein which is in the center of the leaf. This is called midrib or vein. Veins provide rigidity to the leaf blade and act as a channels for transport of water, minerals and food materials across the plant. The shape, margin, apex, surface and extent of incision of lamina varies in different leaves. Coming to venation, the arrangement of veins and the veinlets in the lamina of leaf is termed as venation. The central main vein, that is which is also called as midrib, and the lateral veins which are called as veinlets. Together they are called venation. When the veinlets form a network, the venation is termed as reticulate. You can see both the examples here. We have two types of venation, that is reticulate venation and also parallel venation. So in reticulate venation, the veinlets form a network. When the veins run parallel to each other within a lamina, the venation is termed as parallel. You can see in the picture C. Leaves of dicotyledonous plants generally possess reticulate venation, whereas in monocotyledons, parallel venation is seen. So this is very important here. These points should be noted. Types of leaves. A leaf is said to be simple when its lamina is entire or when incised. The incisions do not touch the midrib. Midrib will be there constantly. When the incisions of lamina reach up to the midrib, breaking into a number of leaflets, the leaf is called compound leaf. Incision means cutting. So when the incision of the lamina reach up to the midrib, breaking it into a number of leaflets, the leaf is called compound leaf. A bud is present in the axil of petiole in both simple and compound leaves. So, bud is present in the axil of petiole in both simple and compound leaves, but not in the axil of leaflets. Remember this. So, we have seen the image before where exactly the petioles are present. The compound leaves may be of two types. In a pinnately compound leaf, a number of leaflets are present on a common axis. We can see that in picture here we have a common midrib, a common axis where the leaflets are arranged parallelly. The common axis, which is called rachis, which represents the midrib of the leaf as in knee. So here the common axis on which the leaflets are attached is called rachis, which also represents midrib of a leaf as in knee. In palmately compound leaves, the leaflets are attached at a common point. So see the difference. We have a neem plant here and we have a silk cotton. So in palmately compound leaves, the leaflets are attached at a common point, that is at the tip of the petiole. Whereas in pinnately compound, they are on either side of the midrib, that is rachis. Whereas here the leaflets are attached at a common point which is at the tip of the petiole as in silk cotton. Coming to phyllotaxy, Phyllotaxy is the pattern of arrangement of leaves on the stem or branch. This is usually of three types: alternate phyllotaxy, opposite phyllotaxy, and whole phyllotaxy. In alternate type of phyllotaxy, a single leaf arises at each node. So we don't have, see the picture properly, we don't have any parallel leaves. We have a leaves which are present at alternate node. So in alternate type of phyllotaxy, a single leaf arises at each node in alternate manner, as in China rose and mustard and also sunflower plants. Whereas in opposite type, a pair of leaf arises at each node and lie opposite to each other, as in calotropis and guava plants. So you have both the images of China rose we have seen, and we have a guava plant, that guava leaves also. If more than two leaves arise at the same node and form a whole, it is called whole, or as in Alstonia. So three examples: phyllotaxy we have seen, alternate, opposite, and whole phyllotaxy. Whereas in China rose we are seeing alternate type of phyllotaxy, whereas in guava we have a parallel, means the leaves arise at each node parallelly and opposite to each other. Whereas in whole phyllotaxy, more than two leaves arise from the node and form a whole type of phyllotaxy. Coming to modification of leaves, leaves are often modified to perform functions other than photosynthesis. They are converted into tendrils for climbing, as seen in peas, or into spines for defense, as in cactus. So we are seeing both the examples. In the pea plant, leaves are often modified into tendrils, like circular reticulate structures, which helps the plant to climb. Whereas in cactus we have a spiny structures which act as a defense when animals graze on them. So they protect the plant from grazing animals. The fleshy leaves of onion and garlic store food. In some plants such as Australian acacia, the leaves are small and short-lived. The petiole in these plants expand, become green, and synthesize food. Leaves of certain insectivorous plants such as pitcher plant, Venus flytrap are also modified leaves. So we are seeing these are the examples. So pitcher plant we need to remember, and also Venus flytrap, which also it's insectivorous plant, means it trap insects. They too have modified leaves. Coming to the inflorescence. What is inflorescence? The flower is a modified shoot wherein the shoot apical meristers changes to floral meristers. Internodes do not elongate and the axis gets condensed. Okay, which are what's happening here in the flower? Internodes do not elongate and the axis gets condensed. The apex produces different kinds of floral appendages laterally at successive nodes instead of leaves. When a shoot tip transforms into a flower, it is always solitary. The arrangement of flowers on the floral axis is termed as inflorescence. So what is inflorescence? The arrangement of flowers on the floral axis is called as inflorescence. Depending on whether the apex gets developed into a flower or continues to grow, two major types of inflorescence are defined: racemose and cymose. In racemose type of fluorescence, the main axis continues to grow. The flowers are borne laterally in an acropetal succession, like leaves. Whereas in cymose type of inflorescence, the main axis terminates into a flower, hence is limited in growth. The flowers are borne in basipetal order. After listening to the video, go through your NCERT book, read it again and again, and make more revision. If you make more revision is very important because it will make you remember all the points properly. And please subscribe to my channel, and thank you.